welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. I actually don't take it for granted. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have supported Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Okay guys, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to cut and sew a mono strap jumpsuit. Yeah, you heard it, a mono strap jumpsuit. That's what we are going to be learning how to cut and sew today. Okay, so I have my fabric here already. So the measurement that I'm going to be making use of for this jumpsuit, the bust is 46 inches, the waist is 37, the hip is 48, and then the full length of the jumpsuit is 57 inches. The tie, that's the tie, the lap is 30 inches. So these are like the basic measurement that we're going to be making use of. Okay guys, so if you are new to the channel, this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, please, I would appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel. I would really like that. Please subscribe if you have not done so already, and then hit on the bell to get an update whenever I upload a new video. If you want to register for our online classes, you can see my number scrolling through the screen. Send me a message on WhatsApp. I'll give you the details of the classes that we have available. And then if you want to become a member of Stylish Naija here on YouTube, if you want to see some of our exclusive packages, you can see a join button there on the video as you're watching it. Just click on it and then you can go ahead and see what we have for you. Okay guys, so now let's get started. So we're going to be drafting this on a pattern paper. It will be easier because you can see my print is colored, so it will show properly. So now I'll place my pattern paper and then we'll get started. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to insert the waist measurement. So like I said, 37, you divide into 4, you mark it here, and then I'm going to add my allowance on this side like this, and then I'll connect it straight with my ruler. So we're done with our pattern. So I'm going to cut it out right now. So I'm going to transfer this pattern to another one for the back before we work on the neckline. Okay, so the next thing now we're going to add our neckline. So for the neckline, I'm making use of 3 inches wide. So this is my 3 inches. So I'll mark it on both sides. So the next thing, I'll open it up. So this is the neckline point here. So from this neckline point, I'm just going to come a little bit. I'm going to come a little bit with half of an inch here. So from this half of an inch here, I'm going to slope it into my armhole area like this. So I'm going to slope it, let it enter into my armhole area. If you notice, it is not a very deep slanted neckline. So I'm just going to slope it into my armhole area. So I'm going to cut it out now. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to transfer this to my fabric. So I can use this to cut out the back and the front also. The only thing I'm going to do is just add a zip allowance to the back piece. So I'm going to fold out my fabric now and then cut it out. Okay, so I finished cutting out my fabric. So for the dart, I'm just going to add a waist dart. So I'll cut my lining also, and then I'll go and stitch them together. So I'm just going to join the shoulder and then join the side. I'll show you that. So I'll iron some soft gum on it just to give it structure around the bust area. Okay guys, so you can see I finished ironing and joining my seams. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'll go and turn it with my lining. So the way I'm going to stitch it, I'll stitch it around the neckline and then the side. So I'll do that and then we'll come back and cut out the trouser parts. Okay guys, so you can see I finished stitching. I've turned it with my lining just the way I explained to you. So the next thing we're going to do now is for us to cut the trouser part. So the full length of the trouser is the full length of the dress, that's the jumpsuit, is 57 inches. So I added 1 inch to it to make it 58. And then from this point to the half cut is 18 inches. So we're going to be cutting out a trouser of 40 inches length. So that's the full length. So for the crouch, I'm going to divide her measurement, that's her hip measurement, into four. When I divide it by four, I'm going to have 11.5. So I'll add 2 inches to it. That is going to give me 13.5. So that's what I'll use for the crouch. Okay, so now let's get started. We're going to draft on the pattern paper to make it easy, and then before we transfer to the fabric, I don't want to waste my fabric. Okay, so you can see my pattern paper already laid out. So I have some couple of lines here. So this first line is going to be my waistline, and then this is my hip line, and then this is my crouch line, and then this is my knee line. So from the shoulder, sorry, from the waist to the hip is 9 inches, and then from the waist to the crouch line, like I told you, I am using 13.5. You divide the hip measurement into four, and then I added 2 inches, and then from the waist to my knee is 20 inches, and then I have my full length. So you can see the full length here. So now the next thing I'm going to do now, I just want to take out the shape of my trouser before I begin. So I'll come to this end, to the end of this point like this now. I'm just going to come in by 2 inches here, like this. Once I come in by 2 inches, these 2 inches, I'm going to take it straight. I'm going to take that 2 inches. Also, I'll come to the knee point. Also, I'll mark the 2 inches. So I'll connect it to a straight ruler like this. So from this point now, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this now to my hip line. So a more curved, I'll use a more curved pattern like this, just to give it like a defined shape. You see, you understand, just to give it that shape so you can see like a curve, because this is the thick part. And then the next thing, I'm going to come to my waist measurement. So on the waist point, I'll just come in by 1 inch like this, and then I'll connect it, just like when you're cutting a skirt. Okay, so the next thing now, we're going to add all of our measurement. So on this part, I'll mark my waist measurement. So I'm going to mark my waist measurement. So for my waist measurement, I'm using 37. So I'll divide it into four. Okay, so we're going to mark out our waist measurements now. So I'm going to be marking them inward like this. So your waist measurement, you divide it into four, and then I'm going to add my measurement here, and then I'll add 1 inch as my allowance. I'm just going to add it here, and then here, I'll come to those points now. So for the front, the trouser on the front, I'm not going to add that. I'll add the that on the back. So for the hip measurement, I'll divide my hip measurement into four. I'll add my allowance here. I'll add my measurement, and then I'll add my stitching allowance. I'll add 2 inches for my stitching allowance, and then I'll come to my crouch line. So that's where I'm going to add my thigh measurement. So the thigh measurement I'm using is 30. That thigh measurement, excuse me, you're not going to divide that one into four, you divide it into two. I have 15 inches, I'll mark it here, and then I'll add allowance to it. I'll just add 1 inch allowance. So what I have here on my thigh, I will repeat it here on my knee line. I'm just going to take out, excuse me, I'm just going to take out, remember what I took out from this point now. I'll just take it out, which is 2 inches. So, or if you depends on this part, let me explain it properly. The knee part depends on what you want for your knee. If you want your knee to be wide, if you want it to be an open leg pants, So what you have here, you can just repeat it here, increase it, or if you want it to be a slim knee, what you have here, you can place it here and then reduce the measurement. So it's optional. So the next thing now, I'm going to mark. I'm just use dotted lines like this. So to define the crotch measurement, so you can see what we have. And so by the time we mark it like this now, we'll have the shape of our pants. So I'm going to use my pattern cuff to do this right now. So you slip it back into that point. But if you want it smaller, for instance, if I don't want it to be 15 inches, if I want to reduce it to about 14 inches, I'm just going to do this like this so you can see. So that's just the difference. So it depends on how wide you want the down of your trouser. So for the down part, on this side, I'm just going to maintain because I just want it to be like a free pants. So I'm just going to maintain what I have here. So I'll just use this slope like this to measure it down. So at the end of the day, the width of my pants is 13. That's the down part is 13 inches. If I want the 15 inches, I'm going to bring it like this. You see I sloped it. If I want 15 inches, I'll place it like this straight and then I'll bring it down straight. So I'm just trying to explain as detailed because of the beginners. So for you to know the shape, how to get the shape of your trouser. Okay. So I hope you got that part. So I'm going to cut this out now. I'll place it on my pattern, on my fabric and cut out. So after cutting this, I'll show you how to use this pattern to cut out the back portion. So when you are folding your fabric, we're going to fold the fabric into two. Okay guys, so you can see I've cut out the front pattern. So I'm going to place my pattern on the fabric now and then show you how to cut out the back. Okay guys, so I'm going to explain how to cut out the back now. I did it before and I found out that the camera did not capture it properly. So for the back piece, I'm going to come on this part of the back, I'll come up by 1.5 inch. So I extended the length by 1.5 inch and then that 1.5 inch, I just made a line here. And then on this waist side, you blend it into it. And then on this right hand side of the waist, you come out by 1 inch. So, and then that 1 inch, I'm just going to float it as in came out on this side by 1 inch, and then it follows the hip, the exact measurement of the hip to the hem. And then on the crouch line, we're going to add 2 inches to the crouch part. So you can see the 2 inches. I came out by 2 inches, and then that 2 inches from this side also, I came out by 2 inches. So that 2 inches, I just blend the 2 inches into this part, and then I blended it into this part. Why I left it? Because I want to add that to the back. So from that 2 inches, I can take out 1 inch for my dart and then 1 inch for my zip. And then I still have an extra 1 inch here. Okay. So and then on this down part, also that 2 inch, I just extended it like this from the crouch part to the down part. And then you just fold it in and then we'll cut out. So that's all for the back piece. So it's just the little addition, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. So that's for all for the back. For the dart, I'm just going to take the center of my pants and then I'll put the knot on it like this. So that's why I'm going to add the dart. So the next thing we're going to start stitching. I'll show you how to stitch it. It's a simple process. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now, take them back to my machine. So for the back piece, I'll add my dart and then I'll sew the crouch line. And then the front piece also, I'll sew the crouch line and then lay it flat like a butterfly before we fix it on the waistline. Okay, guys, so you can see, so I finished, like I said, so this is the so I've joined them, both the back and the front. So I joined it and on the crouch part. So the next thing that is remaining is just for me to place it like this on the back. So if you notice, I've not added the dart. So I want the darts, I want them to align. So, but I put the notch, so I'll put the darts like this, and then I'll join the back and then join the front. So after joining the back like this, I will join the side, and then I will join the center piece. I will join the center. So I'll hold this part of the front and the back. So I'll show you when I'm doing that. So I'll go ahead now, go and join them together. Okay, so you can see I finished joining it. So that's the front, and then this is the back. So the next thing now, I'm going to hold, I'm going to stitch on the crouch part, that's this down part. I'm going to take it to the down. I hope you can see. And then I'll stitch it round like this. Then once I'm done, I'll sew the side. You can do it in two ways. You can decide to sew the side first, and then when you are done, you sew the crouch. So I'll go and do that, and then I'll place it on the mannequin for you to see. For the sleeve, I'm not going to show the sleeve. If you notice, it's just a puff sleeve. I already have that video on my YouTube channel. So the sleeve is just to fix the sleeve on this part. So I'm not going to be showing it in this video. Okay, guys, so at the end of the day, you can see how our monostrap jumpsuit looks like. It actually came out fine. I like the outcome. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button to let me know. And if you have not subscribed already, please subscribe to Stylish Nigeria YouTube channel. Thank you so much, guys.